Hello everybody and welcome to F1 Sasha presents the F1 Files. Yes, every single day I will take a little bit of a look at Formula One history and choose a specific race that happened on that day and go and analyze it and just tell you a little bit about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're all getting frustrated in the lockdown period and of course no live sport and no live Formula One. I will also keep you updated with what's happening in the world of Formula One if there are any big stories. So let's just start off on that. If and when Formula One starts, and hopefully it's going to start in July in Austria, it might even be a back-to-back race. 2 races in Austria, 2 races in England. We still don't know at this stage. It all depends on what happens within the countries, and you can watch my previous videos for what I've had to say about that. But if it does start, the Formula One teams and of course the organizers and Formula1.com as well have said that all of the team members, drivers, etc. will be tested every second day while they're at a circuit. So, you know, everyone's taking it very seriously. The chances of us all contracting this the coronavirus is very high. It's just a question, if somebody does get it, we don't want it to spread. So they're going to be testing all of the drivers and the personnel every second day. Other news that has come out, Ross Brawn is coming out talking about what's going to happen with the budget cap from 2021 or 2022. They're looking at a number around about $145 million. I think it's very decent. There's been a lot of talk that Ferrari are saying it's too low and it's this and that and whatever. You know what, if they decide on it, everyone will do it. That 145 million, of course, won't include driver salaries, personnel salaries, etc. But if you've got to work within $145 million, not bad. However, I think teams like Mercedes, Renault and Ferrari do have a very valid case to sit and say, hold on a second, and Honda, my apologies, and Honda. We're the guys investing all of the research and development into the engine power, the gearboxes, etc. How are we meant to do that and run a business on $145 million? So there might be some little amendments to what has been said. Okay, let's get into Sasha's Formula One files. Today, the 6th of May, 2020, and let's have a look back on this day in history in the world of Formula One. The San Marino Grand Prix took place 36 years ago, the 1984 San Marino Grand Prix, and that's going to be my focus. It was Riccardo Patresi's 100th start, Andrea De Cesaris's 50th start, Nelson Piquet had his pole position number 10 in that race. Piquet also got the fastest lap in that race. And today, 56 years ago, it's the birthday of Andrea Chiesa. Now, that's a name you might have heard, you might not have heard. He was part of the footwork team in 1992. He attended 10 Grand Prix. He only qualified for 3, unfortunately didn't finish any of them. Okay, so that's a little bit about Andrea Chiesa. Now, let's take a look at the 1984 San Marino Grand Prix that took place on this day, on the 6th of May in 1984. So, it's a 60-lap race. It was won by Alain Prost in his McLaren tag, which is actually this car over here, the MP42. This is the MP42B, which was used in 1985, and I'll talk about that as well in a couple of moments. But that was the actual car that Alain Prost used. René Arnoux for Ferrari finished second, and Elio De Angelis finished third. He was in the Lotus Renault. He ran out of fuel on the last lap, but he was so far ahead of everybody else that he was classified as third. It was also a very significant day for a guy by the name of Ayrton Senna. Now, Senna is regarded as maybe the best qualifier in Formula One history. Never mind that Schumacher's got more and Lewis Hamilton's got much more statistics-wise in terms of pole position numbers. Senna is regarded as the one-lap specialist by many, many people. But here's an interesting fact that the 1984 San Marino Grand Prix, he didn't qualify. You go, why? Well, he was part of the Tolman team, and they had a bit of an issue with Pirelli as the tire suppliers. And it was the only time in the Brazilian's Formula One career that he didn't qualify for a race. How amazing is that? I didn't know that until I did all of this. Now, let me just tell you, a lot of people saying, oh, the racing's not so close, and the margins and the gaps are too far between all of the drivers in today, modern Formula One. Just want to give you an idea of qualifying. Okay, Piquet qualified a 10th quicker than Alain Prost. Then a second behind in third place was Keke Rosberg. 1.2 seconds was Derek Warwick. In fifth place, Niki Lauda was nearly 2 seconds off the pace. So none of this, it was much closer in the good old days. It wasn't. Formula One is Formula One, and this is how it goes. But Alain Prost won that Grand Prix. And 1984, of course, was just a magnificent year of racing. Of course, we had Lauda and Niki Lauda and Alain Prost going right to the wire. Who can ever forget the Monaco Grand Prix that year as well? And I'm sure those will come up as we go through the days in our Formula One files. Now, a couple of things. Yes, also about the 1984 Grand Prix. Elio De Angelis finished in third place. And I think it would be a miss because otherwise we'd have to wait 364 days to get to May the 5th next year. But on the 5th of May, the 1985 Formula One Grand Prix of San Marino took place. And this was quite a contentious Grand Prix because during that race, it was the third race of the season, the FIA had decided that there was going to be a restriction on the amount of fuel that was actually going to be allowed during a Grand Prix. Ring any bells? Yeah, I understand. Nigel Mansell even came out and said, that's not racing. So Alain Prost actually crossed the line and immediately came to a halt. Because his car had run out of fuel. In scrutineering, they found out that Prost's car was 2 kilograms underweight. So he was disqualified from the race. So in the first time that it's happened in Formula One history, I think the only time as well, a driver who didn't lead one lap during the Grand Prix won the Grand Prix. And that was Elio De Angelis. And that was his second last victory until, unfortunately, he passed away. But I mean, some of the other incidents that happened. Stefan Johansson was running a very, very good race for Ferrari. Now, Stefan Johansson had just come in to replace René Arnoux, because René Arnoux had just been fired from Ferrari. Yeah, those were the days when drivers used to get fired, And I remember the last, Prost even got fired from Ferrari. So it was really, really cool. So Stefan Johansson was there. He started 15th. He made his way up the field to second and was poised to benefit because Senna was running dry 3 laps from home, so he went down. Johansson got into second place behind Prost and unfortunately ran out of fuel. De Angelis crossed the line, and then it gets even more crazy. So Prost disqualification promoted Elio De Angelis. Okay. And second place was awarded to Thierry Boutsen, who ran out of fuel just before the line and got out of his car and he pushed his arrows across the line. And then third place went to Patrick Tambay, who eventually went on to drive for Ferrari as well. He was in his Renault and came into the last chicane, also before the line, and ran out of fuel. And eventually had to push his car over the line as well. So dramatic times on the 5th of May, not the 6th of May, at the San Marino Grand Prix. So there we go. The 6th of May saw the 1984 San Marino Grand Prix, which was won by Alain Prost. That is F1 Sasha presents the Formula One files, and I'll do it again tomorrow. See you then. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at F1 Sasha.